Good morning, everybody. Ooh, my hair's doing some funny things. Let's see. What's this curl doing? Get over there. All right. Happy Monday, everybody. And happy almost October, right? It's like so close to October. This is titled October Week 1 because we are going to be talking about October classes. I do want to make sure I am live on YouTube, so give me just 2 seconds. There we are. Good. We are live. That's awesome. I've got a whole bunch of notes to go through. We're going to talk about what's going on this week. Got a few weird things happening. Got to talk about that. And then we're also going to go through everything those kids are learning in classes this week as they start October curriculum. We'll go a little bit over kind of a highlight recap of September. And then I also, in the housekeeping section, I'm going to talk through the holidays because we're starting to get some questions like, what is the end of year look like? And so believe it or not, it's going to be here before we know it. So for those of you who are planners, this video is for you. All right. Is there anything in house? I got to talk in the intro. So the most important thing, October classes start on Wednesday. Tomorrow, which is Tuesday, nobody has class. Nobody. Doesn't matter what class you're in. If you normally come on Tuesday, you do not come to class tomorrow. Okay. And the reason for that is it is the 5th Tuesday of the month. So my 3 time a month people, my fundamentals, my creative explorations, my toddler art and play, you guys always have off days kind of sprinkled throughout. It's an off day for you. My 4 time a month people, that's my drawing and my multimedia kiddos. You guys, I just realized why it's so dark. I don't have my lights on. I'm gonna turn that on. But my 4 time a month kiddos, you guys have a day off too because it's the 5th. Just a sec. This is weird. There. Okay. I mean, I have my like forward lights on because I got lights for video, but my overhead lights are off. I'm like, no wonder I feel like I'm sitting in the dark. All right. Anyway, no class tomorrow, okay? For anybody. Let's see. The 29th, it says my OBS has connected, so I'm just going to make sure that I get reconnected. There we go. Today is Monday the 29th, and there's no preschool classes at the Flatwoods studio. Liberty never has classes for preschool on Mondays, but Flatwoods does. And you guys don't have class because it's the 5th Monday of the month for you guys, okay? Evening classes are still meeting, remember, because we took off, and so same with homeschool here in Liberty, and that's because we took off Labor Day. So we took that one off, so we are using the remaining 4 Mondays in the month of September for our 4 classes, okay? So, but no preschool classes. Tomorrow, no classes, none at all, don't come, okay? And then October classes begin on Wednesday. So hopefully that makes sense for everybody. As a reminder, you can always find your class schedule. It's not a secret. It was predetermined when you signed up for classes. So if you would like to see your class schedule rather than waiting on the weekly video and the notes from me, feel free to go to look in your Sawyer account and you can add those dates to your calendar. All right, let's go through preschool. So for the month of October, we change our media focus, our art concept focus, and our art history focus. So from September, we were doing like pastels, and then we were doing dots, right? And then we looked at Kandinsky. Well, now we're doing clay. We're doing a lot of art with line, and then we're looking at the art of Mondrian. There are no classes on Monday or Tuesday for our preschool families, so don't come. Thursday and Friday, people will see you this week. And then Monday, Tuesday, when we talk about like this week, we're doing this. This is for you next week, okay? Excuse me, we start our month with Lines That Wiggle. This is a really cute book with a bunch of monsters in it, which ties well into October. And we're going to do some line artwork. We're also going to get out the clay, so the kids will get to play with clay. And we're going to roll slab bowls and then use texture tools and yarn to make clay lines in their slab bowls. Okay, we're going to work on those for the month. So we'll actually like build them and then let them dry, and then we'll paint them as the month goes on. My creative explorations, you guys, everything also changed. So we're going to go through, this is a little bit out of order here. Creative explorations. I'm like, what happened? I know why. Let me go through this and then I'll show you the fun stuff I have for the multimedia people. Creative explorations, everything changes. So you came in September and we had the same stations pretty much through the entire month, right? Well, everything changed as we get into October. So my Wednesday and Friday creative explorations kiddos, when you come in, it's all going to be different. Our media focus switches from pastels to clay. Our art history focus switches to Mondrian. We're going to do some drawing of vases and vessels in our lounge, in our journals. The collaborative mural is a Mondrian mural. The sensory event is also sculptural. We're going to get out Play-Doh and some manipulatives, and you'll be able to build there. And then the still life drawing center, which is something we always set up, is also done with clay. And that is done using a plasticine clay. So we've got a couple different doughs and clays happening. Everything is very sculptural in October for us. All right, I got to switch this. So we're going to talk through K3rd, but this is where it gets fun. You ready? Boom. It's a video. That's why it wasn't up there. All right, so let's go through multimedia. So we are moving on to Clay Month. Notice no classes on Tuesday, right? Monday, classes are going to be finishing their chalk pastels work today. And then Tuesday's an off day. We'll see everybody Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We'll start our clay projects. For our K3rd artists, we're going to be creating pinch pots. We use an air dry clay here in the studio. We don't have kilns and glazes and all of that stuff. It's one of those things that the liability, the insurance, and the expense of having a kiln is not worth it for the one time a month that we do clay. So we do use an air dry clay, and you can have all the same building properties as a kiln fire clay. Just how you finish it is a little bit different. So for our K3rd classes, we're going to be doing pinch pots. They have a lot of freedom in what their shape is going to be, what their texture is going to be, what their design is going to be, the additional pieces that they add onto it. The design freedom is all up to them. We're going to teach them the basics of building a pot, right? And that'll be the first week's classes. So for those of our October artists who are coming this week, basically that's Thursday, people, we are going to play with the clay. We're going to practice building it. We're going to learn some joining techniques. We're going to see what the limits are. We're going to explore the different marks that we can make in it. We'll look at a slideshow of different art inspiration. We'll get an idea for what we want to build in week 2. So everything that we make in week 1, we will not keep. It is simply a time to play with the medium and to practice building with it, to kind of let them explore it. So that way, when we step into week 2, they can build something that's something they designed with intention. And that is what we will keep. Okay. I have another one. Oh, and do you see all the beautiful artwork? These are some of our chalk pastel pieces that went home. So that's the slideshow that's happening here behind me. Let's do 4th and 5th. Drag it up here. So this is my 4th and 5th and my homeschool kiddos, and their artwork went home. Again, Monday kiddos, you guys are going to finish your art coming up on like tonight or today if you're coming to homeschool class during the daytime. We'll finish up your pop art, food art, chalk pastel art that you created today. But for my October people, we're gonna start in our clay projects. So they are also going to have a lot of freedom in what they build. So we're using, again, an air dry clay, and we're going to be building some sort of creature. It could be a dog or a cat. It's something that's very like concrete and like I'm building my cat or my dog. It could also be something more fantasy based, so it could be a creature that's imaginary, but we are looking for some sort of creature or character. And so lots of freedom there. The kids are going to get to practice building their first week. So for the kids that are Thursday kids, that'll be this week. For my Monday, Tuesday artists, that'll be next week for you, right, as you get into your first week of October. We're going to just play with building. The biggest thing we're going to teach in week 1 is joining clay. That is the skill that sometimes gets missed or skipped or is done in a hurry or in a rush, is just sticking the wet clay together. And the problem is when the clay dries, if it isn't joined properly with scoring and with proper slip, and then when it dries, those two pieces come apart. They don't stay together. So we do want to make sure that we teach the proper joining techniques, so that way we aren't gluing a bunch of pieces back together after it dries. All right, so we're going to practice those skills. We're going to teach the 4 methods of building. So we're going to teach pinch pot building, coil building, and slab building in their first lesson. So that way they know those techniques and can apply them to their design. So they'll get to design in their journals and then practice making it. That also helps so that maybe what we design is more than we are capable of doing, or more than we want to bite off, right? So by practicing it, that gives us a chance to change that plan before we get into week 2 and we actually build. Okay. So week 1's everything will just get swished back up and put into the bag of clay. And week 2 is when we'll actually keep what we built. A lot of designing, a lot of inspiration, a lot of practice in week 1. All right, I almost put the wrong button. Hang on, let's go to this one. My middle school, high school kiddos in their video slideshow, they did an oil pastel bird project. Again, if you're in 6th, 7th, or 8th, 12th on a Monday, you guys are finishing your projects today, and we'll see you for classes, and we'll get them all matted up, and they look beautiful, and we'll get to send them home. If you're in Tuesday classes, please don't come. You don't have any classes, and then October starts our clay curriculum for multimedia classes. In our clay classes, we're going to be building for our older kids jars, animal jars. They are inspired by Egyptian canopic jars. And so I actually brought an example. This is a new lesson for us. And so Miss Grace worked through it. This is not a finished jar, like it's not painted or anything, which is probably good because it's that way it's not green. But you can see it is actually two pieces. It comes apart. You can see the inside and then the top sits on. Hers is kind of a cat or a fox. I think it's a fox. I told her, I was like, we'll be able to tell when you paint it. But the two pieces fit together. The challenge, of course, is getting them to fit together because it's hard to build two things to the right scale so that everything fits. They will be using every technique from pinch pots to slabs to joining to coils, everything. And these kids, a lot of them are not new to us. So this is, they're pros at it and they will do great. In our first week, we'll do a quick review of all of those techniques and really emphasize joining so that they can be successful. They will then build the base of their pot. Figuring that the top has a lot of design that you maybe need to do. The base is a little bit more like, it's just a base, right? Just want to get the scale right, got the walls nice and high. So we got this vertical jar. So they're going to build their base in week 1 after a quick review of clay techniques, and then they'll build and design their top in week 2. Okay. Again, my week 1 artists are really just Thursday for this group because everybody else, like Monday is still finishing pastels, Tuesday doesn't have class. So we're really talking about Thursday artists. And then in week 1, for my Monday, Tuesday people, that'll be next week for you. Okay. Let me check my notes, make sure I'm not forgetting anything. We're going to go back to the slideshow. All right. Did we get them all? Yep. All right. So let's go with Drawing 101. So reminder again, no classes on Tuesday this week, right? So if you come to a Drawing 101 class on Tuesday, please don't come this week. It's an off day for us. So last week, our Tuesday through Thursday artists, you guys drew symmetrical portraits. So we worked on, right? Again, my OBS says it's disconnected, so we're going to wait for it to get reconnected. There we go. So we were going to work from photograph, and then their job was to draw the other half. A lot of matching with like color and value with the colored pencils was important, and also just understanding how symmetry works. So lots of great stuff. I tried to pull ones that don't have a lot of green in them since, we have a green screen going on. So again, we got some really great stuff going on in here, and then you can see our lesson label here is on the back of this. For the Monday artists, this is what you guys are doing tonight. If you're in a Monday 101 class, that's week 4 of September's lessons, so you'll get to see that. For my October artists, so if you start October classes this week, that's really just Thursday classes. You guys rock into October curriculum, which is my favorite month of the year in Drawing 101. Like every lesson is a winner. Absolutely adore it. We are going to get messy this week in October classes. We'll get the charcoal out and we're going to do a reductive type of drawing using bat photographs. And so we're going to look at some images of bats that are very like dark, obviously, because it's at night. And so the black is like, whoo, it's everywhere. And they will put charcoal all over their entire page and then use erasers to dig out the highlights. So it's a different way of drawing and playing with value as opposed to me putting all the darks in. This time I'm going to lift off the whites. So we're going to play with reductive drawing techniques in that lesson. And it's fun. It's challenging, but it's fun. For my 102 classes, all right, so for my illustrative kiddos, we had a wild card week last week, which is something that we like to do with 102 lessons. 102 Realistic did not have a wild card week, and we'll talk about that, but illustrative did, so that gave them a chance to either finish up lessons that they did earlier in the week or earlier in the month, or to get more help on a lesson that maybe they struggled with. And so we have an artist here who actually, she was like, I don't really have anything that I want to work on. And so she chose to do a still life, which I thought was really cool. So she drew from reference. You can see this is one of Miss Allison's little propagations here. So, and she did a great job with it, didn't she? So wildcard is really kind of a chance for them to explore what they're interested in or to get help on something. For a lot of our artists, especially as the year goes on, it's a chance to finish a drawing that they were really passionate about, but they ran out of time in. All right. For my 102 Realistic, we did not have a wild card week. We got in a perspective lesson, so linear perspective, and we drew interior rooms. This is 1 point perspective. as we get through our year, the goal by the time you get to 103 is that you are super comfortable with 1 point and also can do 2 point perspective. So that's kind of a benchmark we look at. So when people are like, well, when can my kid move up to 103? We're looking for if you can do, I mean, among other things, linear perspective pretty confidently without a whole lot of hand holding. So these are lessons that we sprinkle throughout the year. If this was an interior room lesson, we'll have another one in October for 102, realistic, where we draw a haunted house. So again, it's perspective, but we're outside the box instead of inside the box. And then we do it again a few more times in the spring semester. So a couple chances to explore that. All right. Oh, a realistic. Okay, so hang on. So illustrative kiddos, what am I looking? 102 illustrative kiddos. So next week, or this week, if you're in a Thursday class, next week, if you're a Monday or Tuesday class, we begin our lessons in character development. So for the whole month of September, we've worked on technical skills. And these are skills, the line weight, the value, the inking techniques, the coloring techniques. These are things we are going to expect that you do throughout all the lessons for the rest of the year. And now we go into the subject lesson. So we start with characters because original characters are really what our kids are really passionate about, and we're going to break down characters in detail. And so we start with heads and hair and faces. So we're starting at the top. We're going to learn how to create our head and to turn it in space, as well as to move our viewer, right? So if you're looking at me straight on, my head looks different than if you are above me or if you are below me. So we actually move the viewpoint of the person who's looking at our artwork. So we're going to learn to turn our head in space, put our facial features on it, and then different ways to draw hair. For our realistic kids, you guys are also doing reductive charcoal drawings. So it's a great value scale. It's a different way of drawing. It does get really messy, but it's a way for us to get values onto a page by removing them instead of by adding them. And we still use some additive methods with our compressed charcoal, but the reductive methods with the eraser is really fun. All right, for our 103 kids, projects went home if you were Tuesday through Thursday with charcoal. So good stuff happening in the 103 class. I think almost everybody finished their lesson. If you're in the Liberty one, because that's a Tuesday class. The Plowwoods class has their last class tonight, so they'll finish up tonight, get a matted artist statement, and head them home. For our illustrative kids, they finished up their streetscapes, and I did not put a picture in the slideshow, but they looked amazing. I know there's some pictures coming out on social media later this week, so you get to see those. But they put their Jelly Bean classic Disney style characters, not Disney characters, Disney style characters, because it had to be original, on a streetscape that had to follow perspective rules. And all of them, I think, did 2-point perspective, which is awesome. And they looked really, really good. For my well, you know what? Liberty's people are done. So the pictures I have are Flatwoods. I'm trying to remember everybody's schedule. Liberty's 103 class. Well, I guess we have one on Monday and we have one on Thursday. I'll have to look it up. Anyways, but they all look really good. And my Tuesday through Thursday, or Tuesday people are off, but my Thursday people will start a new lesson this week. So I will tell you what those are. How's that? For our illustrative artists who start in October this week, you guys are going to look at the art of Charles Schulz. So that's the creator of Peanuts. And we're going to practice his style of line, which is kind of this like shakier line, and a more simplified version. And so we're looking at characters that are in kind of a peg doll style. And the reason we're looking at art this year, this is a little bit different than we've done in the past with our illustrative 103s, is we really want to push these kids to explore different styles. Everybody's very pigeonholed into their own style, and we don't grow that way. So we're trying to get them to, put their own spin on it, but we're going to try something different. And so we're looking at Charles Schulz, like peg doll style characters. And they're going to have two parts to this project. The first is to create characters and put them onto trading cards. So we really flesh out what these characters are. And then the second part is to use these characters that are on our cards in a 3-panel comic. So we're looking for two different things happening from our 103 illustrative. For our 103 advanced realistic, we're going big. So we've got poster size pieces of multimedia paper, and we're going to be doing color pencils and doing insect studies. The goal is this trompe l'oeil, which is I can't remember what it means, but it's like a optical illusion. So it's a way to fool the eye. So what we want is we want it to look like three-dimensional bugs, like it was a bug collection poster hanging on the wall, kind of taking inspiration from scientific illustration posters. And so we did bugs last year. I think we did them in October. But we did a single one and we did it when it was November and we did them with colored pencil. Now we're going to do multiple bugs. So you actually have a bug collection and it is a poster. So I think they'll be really good. They'll have to get like the drop shadows even so that it looks like the bugs are actually off the page. So poster style insect collection using colored pencils. So I think it'll be good. All right. I think that's it for drawing. Let's see. Housekeeping stuff. Okay. As a reminder, there are no classes on Tuesday, 9:30. Please don't come to class. Okay. Fall party. So coming up October 19th, we've got the fall party happening at Bull Studios. This is an event we've done almost every year. We did take a break on the COVID years, but almost every year besides that, we've done our fall party. But it is a free event for our families who have kids enrolled in classes. So we're like, if you've got a child who takes class here, whether it's toddler art and play, preschool, high school, drawing, multimedia, it doesn't matter. You are invited to our fall party. You would come to your studio. We have it happening at Bull Studios, but you come to your studio. The entire family is invited. So that means mom, dad, who you live with is really kind of where we're looking at. I want to be sensitive to the fact that families look different, so not everybody looks the same as a nuclear family. But your immediate family, whatever that means to you, that's what I want. But we aren't inviting like the neighbor girl who, is like a sister to you. That's not it. Okay. But it is a free event for your immediate family, whatever that means to you. We would love to have you. There is an RSVP form on the special events page of the website for you to sign up. I need a head count so I know how much food to buy. That's the most important thing. You can RSVP. It says October 1st, but honestly, it's open right now. So you can go RSVP. There is a deadline. I can't remember what it is, but it's on the page. And then it's also going to be in the email. I didn't write it in my notes. So whatever it says there, that's the deadline. And that's just so that I can go shop for food. All right. It is BYOP. If you would like to bring a pumpkin, we will have decorating and carving stations set up. If you don't want to bring a pumpkin, you don't have to. You can just come and enjoy the community and hang out with all of the kids in your classes and the teachers and all that stuff. We do not recommend that you wear costumes. The teachers usually wear costumes, and that's just because it's fun for us. But we usually tell the parents and the kids, please don't wear costumes. A lot of the stuff that we have out is not washable, and I'd hate for anyone to get their Halloween costumes ruined. If you're gonna wear a costume, wear an old one, like from the dress-up bin, okay, that you don't care about just in case. Liberty people, make sure that you dress appropriately for weather, because we don't have the square footage that Flatwoods does, and so we use the outside space for. It could be, if it's 40 degrees out, it doesn't matter. The doors are open and we're going to be outside. The food will all be outside. It's just the way we have to do it. Flatwoods doesn't have to worry about that, but we do. What else can I tell you about the fall party? Ooh, there's a chili cook-off. Yeah, so I do hot dogs that my husband grills for all of us because the first year I was going to boil them and he was appalled. Like, I'm surprised we're still married. And so he grills all the hot dogs and has for 11 years. So he'll grill all the hot dogs and we will get them to the studios. We'll do hot dogs, we do chips, we do water bottles, and we do candy. So just a really simple spread. But then we have a chili cook-off. So for anybody that wants to bring a pot of chili, you can, like a crock pot of chili, we will set them up and number them as entries, and we have little taster cups, and everybody can go through and taste them and vote for their favorite. They can also eat full bowls of chili, which is great, because who doesn't love chili and hot dogs? The winner of the chili cook-off, there's one winner per studio. The winner of the chili cook-off, as voted by the people, because it's a vote from you guys, gets half price spring semester tuition. So if you're interested in the chili cook-off, I think we said 20 slots max is what we can accommodate at Bull Studios for like table space for crockpots and things. So if you're interested, on the RSVP form, there's a spot for you to indicate that you want to do the chili cook-off. Okay. I think that's it. We've never gotten up to 20, but if we did get up to 20, we would open a wait list for people who are like really wanted to do it but didn't get signed up in time, because we do usually have a few people that bow out of the contest because for reasons. All right. That's it for fall party. If you have questions, let me know. Next, looking ahead, we're going to look way ahead. All right. In housekeeping. Now, if you are not a planner and you're like, Allison, we're not even to October yet. I don't want to talk about December. You can just skip this part. Bookmark it. Come back to it later. All right, looking ahead in October. So I'm going to talk about some of the dates we have going on here. I'm going to scoot over just a little bit so that we can see the full calendar. Are you ready? So we're going to talk through, first down here, I want you to note that 30th and 31st, we don't have classes those days. If you count on the calendar, you'll see on the Thursday, the 2, the 9, the 16, the 23, those are 4 classes. So that means we don't have to meet on the 5th. We have that day off. Same thing over here, 3, 10, 17, 24, which means we can take the 31st off, which is great because nobody wants to come here on Halloween, right? So for my 4 time a month classes, that applies to you, right? Like we're not gonna have classes those days. The 30th is when we actually have our Halloween classes going on. So it's a special event. If you want to join, you can sign up. The 19th over here, that's the fall party. That's why there's a pumpkin right there. The 17th is an off day for all of our Friday artists at Liberty, and that's because Liberty Public Schools are off. The 23rd is an off day for our preschool fundamentals classes and our toddler art and play classes at both studios, because you got your 3 classes, right? 1, 2, 3 off day. And then same thing over here on the Monday and Tuesday classes. We got off days going on right there. Bop, bop. And then 29th is an off day for our Wednesday classes because we've already got 1, 2, 3, 4. Go on. Okay. Again, you can always find your class calendar, right? Here we go. This is where it gets interesting. So I want to point out a couple things here. I put that like orange circle right there, and we're going to come back to that in a minute. That has to do with registration, not class times, okay? Please notice this right here, this 27th, that's Thanksgiving. So that is an off day for us. And the 26th, 27th, and 28th, we will be closed. Now, what that means is we can really only get 3 classes in, which doesn't matter to the preschool kids and to the creative exploration kiddos because you only have 3 classes, so you're fine. But for my drawing kids and my multimedia kiddos, we promise you 4 classes, and that's what you paid for. So we would like to get you 4 classes. So notice right here where it's the 24th and the 25th. Those are the days that everybody will come to class. So regardless of what class you are in, these will be class days for you guys. So if you normally come to a Thursday class, you will pick a time for this open studio here on the 24th and the 25th. If you normally come to a Tuesday class, you will pick a time on the 24th and the 25th for your open studio, and that will count as your 4th class. We try to make sure that all of our like curriculum and projects are done before we get to this. These 24th and 25th is a splat paint, have fun, do station, celebrate the studio and the holiday week. And so it's a really great time. If you miss that week, you don't have to make it up. The next thing we have is December. And we have a similar situation. This is Christmas week. The studios will be closed. And then the 29th and the 30th are going to be the days that we've got our open studios happening. These are our art and PJ nights. So you would get to like come in and you wear pajamas and we get hot chocolate and we have kind of wintry or holiday-y stations happening in the studio. Again, if you miss that because say you're traveling for the holidays, you don't have to make that up. Now let's go back really quick and talk about this right here. So the 17th is the day that we open registration for current students for the next semester. For like the rest of the like world, it opens on December 1st at 9 a.m. But for my enrolled students, the 17th is the day that we go ahead and we give you the links. It's a hidden link for you to sign up for your class. You can't sign up for a different class, but you can sign up for your class for the next semester. You guys also get a lot more payment options. The other people that are signing up that are new to us, they would only get the 2 like monthly or semester options. But for our current students, because we know it's like a tough time of year and we don't want anyone to not sign up because you know reasons, and it's a terrible time of year to be shelling out a bunch of money for next semester classes, we offer a gazillion different payment options and none of them have an upcharge or like a like an interest fee. Like you can when we break it into payments, the dollar amount's the same as if you were to pay it all. Like there's not like, let me add a little bit of money, nothing. Okay. So that when we get close to that, we're going to talk a lot about that, because that's the last thing I want is anybody to not sign up for classes because they're going into the holidays and they just can't do it all. So, so we have lots of options, and if anybody has an issue, you can talk to me when we get closer to that. Okay. All right. I think that's it on that. So November, December. I'm going to make sure that I don't have anything. Reminder, don't come to class next week or next week. This is why people are confused. Don't come to class tomorrow. Tomorrow is Tuesday, 9:30. Don't come to class. The studios are closed. Okay. And that's it. Those are all my notes. So I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of their Monday, a great first week of October. And if you have any questions, reach out to me. Otherwise, I'll see you guys in the studio soon.